Hello everyone. In our last class, we had discussed about 5 principles of FAOLs regarding management. We had discussed about all kind of division of work, authorities and responsibilities, discipline, unity of command and unity of direction. Now in this class, we will continue from unity of direction, and thereafter we will see about what is the difference between unity of command and what is the difference between unity of command and unity of direction. Now let's understand between that what I told about you, that what is unity of command. Unity of command is simply based on there is a one superior, one boss for each and every individual employee, and unity of direction told you about that there should be a one plan or one direction for each and every segment or each and every direction, each or every department we need to direct some particular person. There is a head of one plan, one head. Okay. Now let us understand about the difference. What's the difference between both of them? First of all, meaning. Unity of command deals with one subordinate should receive orders from and should be responsible to one superior. One superior is responsible for one superior or one employee only. But in case of unity of direction, each group of activities having same objectives must have one head and one plan. Each kind of same activities, same group of activities should be divided into one plan, one head. For example, there is a production department, production areas, they all to be set into the production department. In case of sales, marketing persons, all the marketing persons should be covered under the marketing department or sales department, and it to be dealt with the sales manager or an marketing manager. Okay. Next, what does it aim? Unity of command aims to prevent dual subordination. What do you mean by dual subordination? That multiple seniors or multiple superiors give order to a single employee, but if an employee gets order from multiple seniors, then he will be get confused. What we discussed in our example also, that in case of your parents discussion also, if your mother told you to bring these things and your father told you to bring only these things, now you are get confused that what kind of products I need to buy. Next is what? Implications. It affects an individual employee. In case of unity of direction, what does it aim? It aims to prevent overlapping of activities, as in multiple activities that should be overlapped with each and everything, it should be stopped. As in production department is separately worked, now the raw material purchase buying department, marketing department is separately done. Now what will happen, that a single person won't be responsible for particular buying or selling of goods or making a product or like that. He is responsible only for his or her department. He won't be responsible for another department or another segment. Next, implications. Unity of command affects an individual employee, senior employee, one senior superior to deals with the one employee. Now unity of direction is affects the entire organization, because organization is divided into separate segments, separate departments. So all the unity of direction is deal with entire organization. Now our next principle is deal with subordination of individual interest to general interest. Now what does that mean, individual interest and general interest? Each and every employee have their own interest in the organization. Some stay in your organization just to there is a good ambience, good atmosphere, good working condition or good profile of our CV. Some work in as in they give you a good salary, they give you a good promotion, they give you a good appreciation skills. Some are stay in company just because they don't want to shift in any other organization, or they don't want to remove or eliminate from this organization. Means here we need to understand what is the individual interest of an employee also, because if your individual interest of an employee is matched or related or is focused with direct general information as well as general interest of an organization, then only he or she can achieve their targets or objectives. Like for an example, if a person getting salary from the company about rupees 10 lakh for a year, that is 10 lakh package I must say, then he need to do all kind of work, how to appreciate, how to do promotion, how to I need to do efforts so then my company will give me better salary, better improvement and my promotional skills. This is his individual interest. But his individual interest, his efforts should be related with the general interest of an organization, as in to achieve your targets on time. If targets are achieved on time, then obviously your company will give you promotion skills. Okay, so here it is, interest of an organization should take priority over the interest of any one individual interest. Means ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का इंटरेस्ट जो है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के जो टारगेट्स जो है वो आपको प्रायोरिटी पर लेने पड़ेंगे, इंस्टेड खुद के अपने इंटरेस्ट के बारे में सोचना पड़ेगा. अगर आप खुद के इंटरेस्ट को प्रायोरिटी पे लेते हो तो हो सकता है कंपनी आपको निकाल दे, या फिर आपको प्रमोशन ना दे, या फिर आपको सैलरी प्रोवाइड ना करे. बट अगर आपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बेनिफिट के लिए सोचा तो आई एम डैम श्योर कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी आपको प्रमोट करेगी, सैलरी प्रोवाइड करेगी, एज वेल एज बाकी लोगों से ज्यादा आपको रिवॉर्ड और एप्रिसिएशन प्रोवाइड किया जाएगा. Clear, my friends? For example, company would want to get maximum output from its employees at a competitive cost. That company wants to give best output, best utilization of resources at least cost. Least cost means least salary. That I don't want to give a salary, maximum salary for a minimum work. Rather, what employees think about, I need to do a minimum work and will get a highly paid salary. This can't be done. If you think, if you are an employee and you are thinking like that, I was sitting in my chair and I have to done only a little bit work and company provides me the salary, complete salary, then my dear, this is your mistake. You had mistaken the company's policies. Company will give you only when you give production or you give targets or achievable targets to the company. You give profits to the company. Okay. An employee may want to get maximum salary while working the least. Okay. Now, next principle is all about remuneration of an employees. Remuneration of employees is simply deals with, you need to decide the remuneration of employee on the basis of knowledge, what kind of knowledge they have, what kind of skills they have, what kind of qualifications they have, what kind of experiences they have. All employees can't be get paid for a same remuneration, single remuneration. Like अगर एक कंपनी में अराउंड 10 मैनेजमेंट के बंदे हैं, 10 लोग हैं जिन्होंने MBA कर रखा है, सारे के सारे IIM से पास आउट है, तो जरूरी नहीं है सबकी सैलरी सेम हो. नो माय डियर, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल दैट ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन एट द सेम लेवल कैन गेट पेड फॉर अ सेम सैलरी और सेम रेम्यूनरेशन. अगर उन 10 बंदों में से जो भी, जिसकी भी कैपेसिटी अच्छी है, जिसने कंपनी को टारगेट्स दिए हैं, who achieve the targets of the company, who focuses on their goals, as well as who mixes their individual interest into a general interest of an organization, company will pay them to the more amount as compared to the others. Okay, my dear friends. So whenever a person who does efforts, who does any educational skills or qualifications better than others, he should be paid accordingly. Overall pay and compensation should be fair to both the employees in the organization. Both employees and organization, what does that mean? In case you need to pay employee at least that percent, that particular amount, that he would be surviving his standard of living, or he would survive in nature, as well as he would survive how to do, and he can't able to decide that I need to shift my company. If you are paying a good amount, a handsome amount to your employee, then he won't leave you with your organization. But if you are not giving him any appreciations, any rewards, any promotions, then he had to shift from the organization. He had to transfer from the organization. That's why always we are talking about, please take care about your employee, and then employees will take care of your organization. So you need to take care of your employees or staff instead of your own decisions or own take care. You need to take care about your staff and your company's organizational family. Next principle is all about centralization and decentralization. Okay, what does that mean, centralization and decentralization? Suppose there is a person who is able to give orders at all the levels. Let's take an example. In case of an organization, अगर किसी बंदे को, अगर हमारी कोई इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन पर हम आ गए, तो अब हमें यहाँ पर सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक उसकी बात माननी पड़ेगी जो यहाँ पर एक्सपीरियंस है, एक्सपर्ट है, जो हमें इस इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन से बाहर निकाल सकता है, वापस से बाउंस बैक करवा सकता है, वापस से कंपनी में ला सकता है। बट अगर इनकेस हम लोग बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रहे हैं, हमें भी एक्सपीरियंस है, हमारा काम भी अच्छे से जा रहा है, तो हम लोगों को मिलके आपस में कोऑर्डिनेट करके हमको वो काम खत्म करना पड़ेगा, ना कि हमको सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक की बात माननी पड़ेगी और उसी को फुलफिल करना पड़ेगा। दिस इज द ओनली डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेंट्रलाइजेशन एंड डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। सेंट्रलाइजेशन इज ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट दैट you need to follow a single person's rules and guidelines as well as his experiences, and he will be judge you, he will guide you only about his experiences, on the basis of his experiences. But in case of decentralization, you need to communicate with your other workers, employees, team members, coordinators, superiors, so that you will get a better understanding of a concept. Centralization concentration of decision making authority is called centralization, whereas its dispersal among more than one person is known as decentralization. Dispersal as in you need to talk with the more than one person, work divided into more than one person is come under the decentralization. Centralization in an organization involves decision making capabilities in the hands of top management. जब अगर कोई एक ही इंसान उस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की पॉलिसीज फ्रेम करेगा और उसके ऊपर बोलने को कहेगा, तो वो ऑब्वियसली टॉप मैनेजमेंट का ही बंदा हो सकता है, बिकॉज नन ऑफ द लोअर मैनेजमेंट कैन कंट्रोल ऑल द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एट द टाइम ऑफ इमरजेंसीज. बट इन केस ऑफ डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन्वॉल्व्स डिसीजन मेकिंग कैपेबिलिटी थ्रू मिडल एंड लोअर लेवल मैनेजमेंट. आपको एक चीज बता दो, centralization is generally used for a small kind of organization or something in that kind of organization where least employees are working. But in case of multinational corporations, MNCs, or in a big organizations, there should be decentralization policy should be adopted, so that each and every work should be coordinated with their superiors and juniors and team members, and your work should be done at an effective and efficient manner. Okay, my dear friends, thank you. Rest will be discussed in our next part.